Hello, my name is Natasha Harrison, and today we're going to be talking about the importance of car maintenance. So, I read a quote today, and it said that a check engine light is like a woman's anger. You never know what brought it on, but all you can do is just ignore it and hope it goes away. So, yes, and also I looked into it and I found 5 ways that we kill our cars every day. So, for one, ignoring the check engine light. Two, failing to change the liquids and the fluids on time. Three, neglecting our tires. And four, not following scheduled maintenance. And lastly, five, being a severe driver. We may not know it, but our driving habits determine the life of the car, how often we'll need maintenance done to the car, and things like that. So today we're going to be discussing three different yet very important aspects of the car. We're going to be talking about the engine and its oil. Two, we'll be talking about the cooling system and also the braking system. So without further ado, let's get started. So when I show you this picture, does it ring any bells? Do any of these lights seem familiar to you? And if so, can you recognize them and do you take action with them? Firstly, we're going to discuss the engine. So the engine is the heart of the car. Without the engine, the car is not going to function at all. It's like our heart again. And not only this engine has oil. There's several different components of an engine. You have a valve, you have spark plugs, you have different gaskets and pistons and carburetors and flywheels and transmissions and all of these other things that come along with a car. And the engine is the oil is there to keep all of these components lubricated and running properly. And so without the right amount of oil, the proper oil and clean oil, these things are not going to function properly. Sometimes we tend to skip out on our oil changes. Some more than others. However, this is not a healthy thing for our car. Our car needs fresh oil every so often, depending on how far we drive and how much we drive. Our car also needs the proper type of oil. You cannot put just random oil in your car. It's a certain type of oil that your car takes, and this is what it needs. I have an older car right now, so I tend to use a thicker oil, especially in the summertime. It actually helps the functionality of my engine. And so, yeah, study shows that the life is in the blood. The oil is what gives the engine life, and without it, the function of the car couldn't go terribly wrong. Secondly, we're going to discuss the cooling system to keep cool. So I live in Southern California, and it's about 105 degrees today. And in a little while, I will be taking a drive. So as you know, it's extremely hot, and I'm definitely going to be running my air conditioner. So obviously my car is working overtime to keep it cool. There's several different functions within a cooling system to keep it cool. You have a radiator, you have a water pump, you have a thermostat, you have fans, and even anti-coolant. All of these things work together to keep the engine cool. So what is going on there is you have antifreeze that is running through your radiator, and then you have a fan that's hitting your radiator, and then you have a water pump that's also pumping these fluids in and out to keep the engine cool. None of these systems can work alone. They all need each other to keep the engine cool. And if one of them goes wrong, you will definitely notice because your car will begin to run hot. This is not a good thing because the cooling system is also working with the engine to keep it cool. Because if the cooling system fails, eventually, if you don't get this problem fixed, a head on your engine will fail as well because it's not staying as cool as it can be, and it's overheating, causing internal damage to it. That's very important to keep your fluids flushed in your cooling system. Again, you cannot have dirty fluids in your cooling system and expect your car to run properly. It's important to keep up on those fluids as well. Finally, we're going to be discussing the braking system. Any car can go, right? But can it stop is the question. So a braking system is set in place to make sure the car stops on time. you don't just have brakes. There's not just brakes. There's an entire braking system, just like the cooling system. So you have brakes. Some are disc brakes, some are drum brakes, and some are air brakes. You have brake pads on a disc. So when you hit your pedal, your brake pedal, there's two pads squeezing against the disc to help your car stop. And not only this, you have braking fluid flowing through this system to keep things lubricated and working properly. If one of these systems in your braking system fails, again, you will know it because your brake will not stop. In addition to this, your car is going to tell you when something is wrong. For example, with the braking system, when you hear your brakes whistling, this doesn't always mean that the brakes are failing. However, it is a clear indication that it's time to get those brake pads changed. And if the brake pads aren't changed, you can cause your car more damage and it'll go into your rotors. So instead of you having to just change your brake pads, now you have to change brake pads and rotors. And also with your cooling system, when something is not going right in there, again, your car will begin to get hot. And with your oil, your car has these different signals to tell you what is going on with it. So for example, if this comes up right here, something is going on with your engine. It won't tell you exactly what is going on, but something is going on. And that means that you need to go get it checked out. When you see this means that your temperature is rising in your car and you need to stop driving immediately, pop your hood and try to figure out what's going on there. When you see this means that the oil pressure is not right with your car and you need to check it and make sure things are running smoothly in there so that your engine can stay lubricated and things can function properly. When you see this means that your battery is not charging correctly. It's losing power in there, and which is not normal. So it needs to be checked out. There are several other warning lights on our dashboard. So in conclusion, we need to pay attention to our cars. We need to give our cars love. We need to keep up on the scheduled maintenance on our cars. Anyone can drive a car, but not everyone can identify these different components of a car. And when we're able to identify these different components, we're able to keep up with the scheduled maintenance and give our car the best car life that it possibly can have. And when you take care of your car, it'll take care of you and it'll last for years on out. However, when you neglect these signs of your car, eventually it's going to fail. So yes, here is to keeping up with the maintenance of our cars, giving it the best life possible, and just learning more about car maintenance as a whole, because there's always something to know about a car. It's always something to learn. We live in a generation where horses are not in style anymore. We like cars. We like air conditioner. We like to get to point A to point B in a good manner, in a good amount of time. So yeah, you can't expect your car to travel all of these miles without paying it attention and giving it maintenance and giving it the proper oils and fluids and checking up on it. It needs these things. So yes, I hope that this video was a little bit informative for you, and I hope that you learned something new from it. Thank you.